Okay, big news, everyone. I think this is going to be our last Catholic Masterclass. When I set out to uh, prepare this series, I never thought that it was going to last this long. And yet, even as I think about it, I think I could keep going. There's just so much goodness and depth to Holy Mass. It's a great gift. I hope this has been a helpful time for you. So we're going to finish with something truly mysterious. And I think that it's fitting that we finish with something truly mysterious because our worship of God is a mystery that we can obviously come to know in a deeper way, but we can't really know the full depth of that mystery. So the particular mystery we're going to finish with is called Eucharistic miracles. So a Eucharistic miracle is exactly what it sounds, that there's a miracle that takes place regarding the Holy Eucharist. And to be sure, I'm sure some of you are already thinking this, to be sure, every time we go to Mass, we believe that a miracle takes place. The bread and the wine offered by the priest on the altar become the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus, of Christ. And that's a miracle that we can't see. When we talk about Eucharistic miracles, we're talking about a miracle that is made visible for us. In other words, the Lord goes out of his way to show us that something truly extraordinary is taking place on the altar. When normally it's invisible, it becomes visible for us in some way that we can perceive. And that's an incredible gift. And so we can actually say that Eucharistic miracles in many ways are double miracles because the original miracle always takes place or already takes place. But then the Lord goes out of his way to perform an extra miracle to reveal something extraordinary, something truly supernatural about what's happening at the altar. So there are actually many Eucharistic miracles. I want to share 3 of them with you and then point you in the direction of a website where you can discover some more yourself. So the first Eucharistic miracle I want to talk about is the first one that is recorded, which is the Eucharistic Miracle of Lanciano or Lanciano. You might hear it pronounced either of those particular ways. But what happens? So around the year 700, there's a Catholic priest who is offering Mass. And as he's offering Mass, he experiences doubts about the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. He doubts whether the bread and the wine really does become the body and blood of Jesus. Nonetheless, he's offering the Mass, and as he says the words of consecration, the words of institution, the words of Jesus at the Last Supper, what happens is the bread changes in appearance, and the wine changes in appearance, so that it appears to be real human flesh, and it appears to be real human blood. It's like an incredible miracle that stopped that priest in his tracks. And that miracle actually is still preserved, and it's been preserved for over 1,300 years in Lanciano, Italy. And in the 1970s, the church had some scientific experiments done in a reverent sort of way, but nonetheless some scientific experiments done on this Eucharistic miracle. And they found that the human flesh comes from the human heart. It's human heart tissue. And the blood is real human blood, type AB. That's a remarkable thing. And there's even more that could be discovered, but I just want to share that with you briefly. The next miracle I want to share with you is the Eucharistic Miracle of Bolsena, also taking place in Italy. So once again, this is in the 1200s. There's a priest who struggles with the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. Again, not sure whether the bread and the wine really do become the body and blood of Christ. And just like with Lanciano, this priest is offering Mass, and as this priest offers Mass, he says the words of consecration, and the Eucharistic host begins bleeding blood. Blood drips from the Eucharistic host onto this white cloth, remember, called the corporal. The corporal, which is there to catch any fragments of the Eucharist that might fall as crumbs or drops. And so you can actually go to Orvieto, Italy, so no longer in Bolsena, but in Orvieto, Italy, and you can see this blood-stained corporal that caught the blood bleeding from this Eucharistic host in Bolsena. Some people actually suggest, and this is a little bit debated, but some people actually suggest that the feast, the Catholic feast of Corpus Christi, the body and blood of Christ, was instituted as something that flowed from the inspiration of the Eucharistic miracle of Bolsena. Again, it's not necessarily confirmed, but that is something that lots of people believe. Beautiful. Okay, one more. The Eucharistic Miracle of Buenos Aires. So this took place in the 1990s, so much more recent. So we got one from the 700s, one from the 1200s, and one from the 1990s. And as I said, there's even more sprinkled throughout there, but we'll get to that in a minute. And this one took place in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So what happens? So a priest found a host, a Eucharistic host that had been consecrated but was discarded. So something happened. We don't know the whole story, but this host was discarded. And so this priest, to treat the Eucharist reverently, he took the host and he dissolved it, or he put it in water so that it could dissolve. And this is a common practice if ever a Eucharistic host falls on the ground and it's just not sanitary to consume the host, something like that. And they might put the host in water to dissolve so that the appearance of bread is no longer there, and thus the Eucharist is no longer the Eucharist. So anyway, so this was taking place. He put the Eucharist in water to dissolve. But what happened is the Eucharistic host did not dissolve. Instead, it turned into some sort of bloody substance, actually. The priest was amazed. And in the late 1990s, the church had scientific experimentation done on this bloody substance. And the doctor, actually, who examined it, was not told its origins. And so he examined the Eucharistic host from Buenos Aires, and he found that, it was human heart tissue with type AB blood, very similar to the Eucharistic host of Lanciano in Italy that was tested in the 1970s. And again, this doctor was not told where the species came from, where his test subject came from. So it's remarkable that there's heart tissue involved in both, and type AB blood involved in both. And there are other Eucharistic miracles where they did test the blood, and again, they found type AB. Very interesting that took place. This particular one with Buenos Aires, what's really fascinating is that the doctor who was examining it, he discovered white blood cells. White blood cells are really only present in living blood. And so, in other words, what he concluded is that the tissue that he was examining, it was alive immediately prior to his examining it. In other words, the tissue came not from a corpse, but it came from a living person that he now is examining and testing. Really wild that this is a real thing that took place in Buenos Aires in Argentina just in the 1990s. So again, you can look at all of these. There's even more. So this website, I'll put it in the notes below this session, and you can check it out. So some of these miracles are truly like unbelievable, and I suppose that's exactly what a miracle is something that is unbelievable. But nonetheless, all of them point to this extraordinary supernatural reality taking place on the altar whenever a Catholic Mass is offered. This website that was put together by a saint called Saint Carlo Acutis. Saint Carlo Acutis was a teenager when he died, but when he discovered the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, he begged and begged and begged his parents that he could receive the Holy Eucharist. And then once he was able to receive his first communion, he never missed Mass again, not even like during the week. He would go to Mass every single day, bringing with him his parents, bringing with him his nanny, bringing with him his friends, perhaps. He never missed Mass until the day, as a 15-year-old, he was diagnosed with leukemia, and he had to go into the hospital, and he spent his final 3 days on earth in the hospital, so he wasn't able to attend Holy Mass. But before he died, the Holy Eucharist was brought to him as viaticum, as a final gift that he could receive the body and blood of the Lord as he went to the Lord. Really beautiful. So anyways, he created this website because he was so captured by the reality of Eucharistic miracles that he just thought to himself, I've got to find a way to tell people about this. And so he created a website that's very simple, but nonetheless, it tells the story of over 100 Eucharistic miracles that have been discovered and analyzed throughout history. Really beautiful and incredible. So you can check that out in the notes here below this session, and continue to dive into the Mass. So this is the end of our Catholic Masterclass. What a gift. I hope and pray that it's been helpful for you. Later on, if down the road there are further questions or something, I might make more sessions. But as far as what I've got in mind, this is the end of it. And it's been just a great gift to be with you. And by all means, please share this so that more Catholics and non-Catholics alike can come to a deeper understanding and appreciation of what it is we do as Catholics as we worship our God in a way that He has ordained for us to worship Him in spirit and in truth. Okay, God bless you. Peace.